Everyone knows Albert Einstein, the funky wild hair, the genius scientist, the equation. But few people know of Albert Einstein as the humanitarian. The man who rewrote the laws of physics twice spent a large portion of his life as a man without a country. And rather than letting that define him as a victim, he let it define him as a protector. This is a true story. By 1930, Albert Einstein was untouchable. He had won the Nobel Prize. He had lectured at Oxford and Cambridge. When he arrived in New York, thousands of people lined the streets just to catch a glimpse of him. The New York Times covered his movements like he was royalty. He was the face of human intelligence, celebrated across every continent on Earth. And yet, back in Berlin, something ugly was growing. When Hitler became Chancellor of Germany in January 1933, Einstein was in Pasadena, California, giving a series of lectures at the California Institute of Technology. He heard the news from Europe and made a quiet, irreversible decision. He was never going back. He was right to be afraid. Within weeks, Nazi stormtroopers raided his home in the Berlin suburb of Kaputh. His cottage, on the Havel River, the place where he used to sail and think and breathe, was ransacked. His bank accounts in Germany were frozen. His name appeared on a Nazi list of enemies of the state. Beside his photograph, there was a bounty. And beneath it, the words, "Not yet hanged." Albert Einstein, the most famous scientist alive, was now stateless. He settled in Princeton, New Jersey, taking up a position at the newly founded Institute for Advanced Study. And this is where the man behind the myth truly reveals himself. Because Einstein did not retreat into his work. He picked up his pen and started fighting. He became one of the most active private advocates for Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi Europe. He wrote letters to American universities, pleading for academic positions to be created for displaced Jewish scholars. He contacted immigration officials directly. He signed testimonies. He wrote to Eleanor Roosevelt. He called in every favor that fame had ever given him. And he spent it on strangers. Albert Einstein's reach went far beyond any single person. And he wrote reference letters and testimonies for hundreds of individuals, many of whom he had never personally met. People wrote to him from Hamburg, from Vienna, from Warsaw, desperate and terrified. And he wrote back. Every time. He was also a founding sponsor of the International Rescue Committee, the organization established in 1933 at the urging of Einstein himself. The IRC still operates today in over 40 countries. That is part of his legacy too, not just the equations. Albert Einstein used his fame and public platform in ways that went far beyond science. He stood on stages and spoke plainly about what was happening in Europe when many people in power were still pretending it was not that serious. He fundraised. He collaborated with organizations working to extract people from danger. He did not ask for credit. He just did it. Here are my thoughts. Albert Einstein understood that fame is not a reward. It is a currency. And currency only has value when it is spent. He had more of it than almost any person alive, and he spent it, deliberately and repeatedly, on people who had none. He once wrote in a letter that the most important human endeavor is the striving for morality in our actions, not discovery, not recognition, morality. The man who gave us the theory of relativity believed that how we treat the powerless is the only measure of a life that actually matters. And if you ask me, that is the most interesting thing he ever said. Lastly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Albert Einstein.